freaks are a bunch of wackos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they still are.
Yeah. Now they're really in trouble because I joined the ranks.
Yeah, now you're one of them.
Now they're going, oh no,
Yeah.
just wait till you convert the world.
Just when it was safe to go back into the water.
Yeah, really.
You didn't want any coffee? You didn't want any coffee?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Here, pick a page. Just open it up anywhere. Just open it up anywhere. Okay, there it is. All right, the positive thought for the day. Good morning, Chuck Cannon's live in the studio. How are you, Mr. Chuck Cannon?
Well, I'm doing all right. Have your fun over there.
Yeah.
Just at my expense, just play with your toy and
Yeah.
beat me down before the show.
Well, you get a lot of kids in here now that have been on the air 23 years and go, oh, yeah, we listen to you going to school every day growing up. So someday, just now, there'll be a Harvest Sunday going, oh, yeah, I remember you, the American Life of Chuck. You're the guy with them funny noises on that thing, right?
I didn't know that you broadcast into Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's right. When you're doing an imitation of somebody, it seems to be I'm stuck in that because people, I know Mary Rott from Rott Air Conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I love your show. I listen every day. I just can't stand it when you do that Southern thing. But I don't know. One time I was going, I was right on the air and I said, well, Barbara said this weekend, well, you make the da-da-da, and I stopped and I said, now she does not talk that way. I hope she's not too busy at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're pretty good at accents, but I know some people, they just decide one accent for everyone. That's not them.
Accents are more acceptable now.
Mm.
I think, although we have to be politically correct. It's really weird because when I was first on the air 23 years ago, I remember there were people that were alive that are not alive anymore. You know, Italiano, hey, grazie, hey, buongiorno, people, hey, better stop that. I'm going to call my mafioso friends to come and pay you a visit and give you some concrete shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now today I can do it.
By you.
No, I can do it now. I just told you to come to the 7-Eleven and get your big gulps on sale today. And I can Indian people that don't mind at all.
I think you can do a lot of accents. There still are a couple that I feel are taboo.
I like who?
Well, like one time in a sermon, I was doing an Asian accent, and I did get a little bit of kickback about it. Well, it's just kind of, be like water, my friend.
What?
You know,
What's that?
I was, be like water, my friend.
Be like water, my friend. That's what he told me. He told me years ago. I said there, Spucky. Hi, Spucky. How you doing, Spucky?
Well,
tell me. What?
I don't know. Maybe it's because where you live in Vero Beach, and there's 3 Asian people that live here.
I like Asian people.
Okay,
Talk.
maybe 3.5. There's such a little Asian population here. It's really sad to me.
Well, I don't know who's Asian anymore. It's funny. You think about that. But
Well, there's the Philippines. There's some Filipinos that I know. You probably know the Nazaros.
Salamat. Salamat.
Nazaros.
I want some salami. Salamat. Whatever. That's stupid. Anyway, so I had Chuck open up the magic book this morning, and Milton Berle once said, laughter is an instant vacation.
Oh,
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
Hey, you know what I heard today?
Yes, sir.
And I didn't think it was that weird, but maybe it is. Do you laugh by yourself?
I do.
I do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do too. And they were
We're all
talking
weird.
about it on another show. And the guy was saying that he was watching something or listening to something and was laughing. And his wife came in and said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm just thinking about what I heard. And she said, I never laugh by myself. I usually am around people. Yeah. And I got to thinking, I wonder, because I do all the time. I'm sometimes
Sparky,
just
do you
driving
laugh by
around.
yourself?
Yeah.
Now, do you do this? do you belch and apologize? I do when I'm by myself. I go like, and I'll go, oh, excuse me. And I'll say, oh, excuse me. I say, that's for you, God. 'Cause, you know,
That's right. Yeah.
you know, it's like I don't want to offend, you know, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. You know?
Sure.
I wonder if he likes that. Like, well, that's it. Rhett gets an extra point today. Maybe we're gonna let him win the lottery this month.
See, now no one who is Southern can be offended because you even made God Southern.
Oh, Scott, that sounds Southern.
It did a little bit.
Can you imagine him? Hey, y'all, come on up here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that other guy. He's all hat, no land.
That's right. Well, you know, God must love country. Yeah.
What's that?
My God must love country.
God loves country.
Right.
Hey, that's a, he's doing a new song. God loves country music. He told me in a dream. God loves country music. Baby, come and dance with me.
Well, there's that God must be a cowboy at heart song. You know,
Oh, no, is
God
there?
must be a cowboy at heart, 'cause he made wide open spaces from the start. He made grass and trees and mountain and a horse to call a friend, and trails to lead old cowboys home again. You don't know that
Oh,
song?
no, that's a
Oh,
good
yeah,
song, though.
yeah,
That's a seriously good song.
yeah.
I like
Isn't it?
that.
That's pretty good.
Who
Yeah.
sang that?
I have no idea. I know that my dad
Yeah.
used to sing that
Oh,
when I
really?
was a
Yeah.
little kid.
If I could wake up somewhere today other than Vero Beach,
Mhm.
I would like that. I'd like to be in Utah or Texas or somewhere. I'm waking up on a ranch, and I got horses that I got to like brush. I'm gonna go riding on the horses or something. I don't know. I'd like to do that. Now,
Yeah.
if you could be anywhere, where would you like to be? Where, if there's something else, another life you could have.
I could tell you, and because I've thought of this, and I have no reason for it, but I'm drawn for some reason to the Dakotas and Montana area, the Badlands.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. I've never been there. I've told my wife I'd like to go there someday on a vacation, and she said, "Well, what would we do?" And I said, "I guess just drive around. I don't know."
Hey, can you find my
There
song,
it is,
American
that's the
Cowboy?
song, yeah.
Oh, is he playing it? What's he playing?
Warms the fingers when it's cold.
Yeah.
It's a great fireside song.
No, yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good, Spark. You found that
Yeah.
right away, man.
Now, who did do that, Sparky?
Who did do that, Spark?
Dan Seals.
Dan Seals.
Yeah.
Now, is that the same Seals who was in Seals and Crofts? You know,
His name was Dan
don't fly
Seals, I
away,
believe.
fly away, don't fly away. I wonder if they were like connected, and if that's if they broke up, and maybe that's him. Okay, thanks. He's gonna look up Dan Seals and find out. Sweet. So you'd like to be out there too? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
'Cause
I don't know why.
me too. I feel like
I've
this.
spent,
Huh?
I've spent hours on YouTube looking at ghost towns and abandoned buildings.
No.
I don't know why.
Anybody ever tell you you're weird?
But yes, anytime.
Every day.
A couple times
Your
this
wife?
morning before I got here.
Your wife?
But there's something that draws me to those. I watch them. People explore these old abandoned towns and these old and I'll watch them for as long as time as I have.
And what do you
and a
see?
lot of those
Just
are
like
up
the
in-
wind blowing.
Well, a lot of it is.
There's Chuck. I can see him at home now.
A
Hold
lot
on.
of it, I
Here's the
think, is
visual. Like
buildings.
this was a
Okay, tell me
TV
what
show.
the visual
Now it's a
is.
shot of Chuck.
Tell
He's
me,
laying,
please.
watching the screen.
Yeah.
There goes the tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Honey, what are you watching now? Just watching a
An
ghost.
abandoned building.
Yeah.
I think people go through phases. You have a hectic life managing a restaurant. And I think this looks very idyllic to
Wow.
be in a ghost town.
I like that.
And
Oh,
not have a
thanks.
lot of
Thanks for
responsibility.
understanding.
Funny.
It's not funny. Quit laughing.
But haven't you
Psychology
noticed as
101
people
here.
get older, they talk about, I want to have a country inn, I
Yeah.
want to have a ranch or a farm.
You did it.
I know.
Tell the story about how you did that. How old?
Well-
How did you and your husband end up having an inn in Vermont?
Well, we got tired of the suburbs
Where were you living before?
in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Oh
And we
my
thought,
word.
oh, how idyllic. Let's be up in Vermont.
Smokestacks of New Jersey.
What part of New Jersey? Bert?
Smokestacks of New Jersey. But how did you end up in Vermont?
Well, because our son went to the university, and that gave us a little bit of exposure of the lifestyle. And Chuck, I know what you're talking about, because we were just so tired of the different thoughts about life when you lived in New Jersey. It was very materialistic. And then all of a sudden, we just saw the mountains and the easy life. But running an inn is not easy.
No.
And running a ranch is not easy. It's a lot of work, but it's so rewarding.
Well, my fantasy means that I'm suddenly somehow very wealthy, and I don't do. Hey, Paul, go out there on the East Corral and feed them chickens.
You do want to be a cowboy, that's yours.
Well, I want to be rich cowboy. The gentleman's, what do they call it?
Gentleman's rancher, yeah.
Yeah, gentleman's farm or whatever they call it. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I always picture a cabin with, it's always wintertime when I'm thinking about a vacation and it just snowed in and I'm just sitting there with a bunch of books. That's my
Did
fantasy.
you read that book about that God's a black lady that lives in a cabin out in the woods?
No, I've
Shack.
never heard of this.
The Shack.
God is a black
Yes.
lady that
Yeah.
lives in the woods.
Did you read The Shack?
I did. That was a
Oh, The
while
Shack.
ago.
Oh, yeah.
I heard it was a
remember
really
that.
great book.
I remember that book.
Did you
yeah,
read
I
it?
don't think, no, I never read it, but I think my mom did.
My friend Jerry keeps recommending it to me.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a couple of years ago, he's recommended it to me. He hasn't recommended it lately because I haven't seen him. But
Well, Jesus had a God paralleled as a widow looking for a widow's mite. Remember in that story? Or looking for a little golden coin?
no,
You don't remember that story?
I remember the lady that gave away,
The widow's
a little
mite. Yeah,
penny,
I was
and Jesus said, like, this lady is given more than all of you because she gave out of her need. It was the last penny she had.
That's
She gave it. Some people have that philosophy that whatever you give, it should hurt a little bit. Otherwise, it's not a gift. Like when King David was having that battle and his guys went off to get him water. There was no water. They were all really thirsty.
Mhm.
So they went down, they went through the enemy, put their lives on, and they brought him a glass of water.
Mhm.
So the guy, all of a sudden he pours it out
I
into the
love
sand,
that.
says, until my army can
It's mighty men.
drink, I will not drink. This is a sacrifice. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I wonder how you would feel as one of the mighty men that just
I'd be
fought.
willing to work with this guy side by side. It's like with Patton. He went out there and was flying in the bullets, man. It's like, that's my boss. Well, I'm going with him. It's kind of like seeing your boss pick up the garbage, you know? That's why once in a while I do the dishes around here. I know it's
Yeah, right.
What?
Do you do certain things
Once-
at your
I
restaurant?
do everything, and the reason I do things is because I think of myself as a leader, not as a boss. A boss can just bark out orders
I like
and
that.
mess around, but a
Mhm.
leader will, and a leader most people want to follow a leader. They don't want to follow a boss.
Okay, define that. Now, define leader.
A leader, to me, would be someone that's willing to do anything that he asks his people to do.
Yeah.
And yes, I definitely do. I'm the first one to crawl into underneath a sink that's leaking, or the first one to.
Yeah.
Well, you like it, don't you? I mean, we all work in some of
Oh,
the.
I do like
Hey,
it,
he
but-
was cleaning up the toilet last week. My boss did it. Good. My week. I don't mind doing it all because, you know.
Yeah.
But I've always strived to be the person, no matter who I worked for or worked myself, that when things were hitting the fan, that people were happy that I was there to help out. And there's a lot of people that aren't. There are a lot of people that like to sit back and watch the drama.
Mm.
And there's some people that like to pitch in and help you get through the drama.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like exercise. Like whenever I get the desire to exercise, I sit down, I wait till it passes.
That's why I'm blessed that we end up having my wife work at such a great salon at Mark's at the Point, because that's how their mentality is.
Yeah.
Mark
Don't have to
Rodrigo.
send your wife a bill for that one.
Yeah, that's right. He's not a boss kind of guy, and they have a team
We create
mentality.
a team. Yeah.
And he'll tell you who's the best at different services in that salon,
Right.
and it's not
Yeah,
all
but
the
I
same
bet
person.
you him going being a cancer survivor taught him that. Now this is just
Yeah,
this is
I
just
think so,
conjecture
too.
on my part.
Sure.
But I've noticed that everybody goes through deep doo-doo. They come out on the
Yeah.
other side being better people.
I think so too.
Because we
Yeah.
only grow in the valleys, right?
Absolutely.
That's my new song. Let's give that in. Well, the only this is Ray Palmer coming across the airwaves here. He only grew in the valleys, all that sharp thorns. Cause that's where the good guys, they are truly born. You only grow in the valleys. What more can I say? If you're down in the valley, don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. I walk in the valley. Sorry. All right, we're gonna take a little break. Then we're gonna come back. We have Chuck Cannon in here. We have the inimitable Beverly,
Hostler.
and we also have Pastor Richard Demsick. And if you want to harass him, you can go on 10:30 on Sundays, right behind the Outback Steakhouse. Don't go into the traditional service. Go back where they throw them back in the black room back.
No rules,
with the
just
young
right.
people. No rules.
Yeah.
Hey, today's broadcast brought to you by Route 60 Hyundai. The Transit family owns it. Also, today's broadcast brought to you by John King and Remax Real Estate. Yeah, they're only looking for a few good agents because the creme de la creme. You'll never get better service. They're involved in the community. John King and, of course, Remax is up there, right? Remax Crown in Sebastian, Florida. Now have new offices here in Vero Beach, right where, remember where Fletcher's, what's the feedback we're getting? Fletcher's TV and Appliance, remember that, right? Yeah, he redid that building.
Oh, really?
Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
A man of integrity, John King. We'll be right back.
It's 2:30 in the morning. Someone is trying to break in.
I gotta wake up.
Yeah, me both. Man, I am. Coffee didn't do it.
I know.
It's a Monday morning, right?
So what you
Monday.
Only grew in the valleys. Gonna be strong.
It's very true.
Only grew in the valleys. And you gotta keeping on. What do you think?
I think it sounds pretty good. Hey, what part of Jersey?
Miss Palm Hunter. Did
Yeah.
It's
Did I ask you that
a new
already?
book that I'm checking out called The Road to Character.
You only grow in the valleys. They make you strong. Yeah, you only grow in the seasons that make you keeping on. Oh, wait, you only grow in the valleys. Child, do not despair. When you're traveling in the valleys, you'll find out he cares. He walks with the child in the valley, Billy Bob and Sally and Julie.
Did you take guitar lessons or do you play by ear?
I used to play by fingers. It's kind of hard to play by
You
ear.
read music?
Guys are so
You
sharp.
read music?
No.
No. Wow.
Not a note.
A lot of people don't. A lot of good guitar players don't read music.
Well, Bob Dylan doesn't read. Elton John doesn't read. The Beatles didn't read. I think it's a good idea not to read.
Really?
I read it. I just don't know what it means.
Really? And read music?
I can read music, yeah, but I can't translate it into
Oh, really?
guitar. I could have back in the day trumpet, but now guitar. No. I don't know.
What amazes me is you'll see this, like, generally musicians are rebels. And then you'll see them up on the stage and go, and there he is playing with Eric Clapton. I go, man, this guy's supposed to be a rebel. Where did he get the discipline to do that shtick, you know? No, I'd like that. I would like that. Now later in life, I would go back. If I could live, I'd be 16 again. I would definitely be, I'd be in an ass-kicking rock band. Meet the new boss! Same as the old boss! Hopping around, man. I wish I had done that. I want to
Who
be.
knows what you'd be like today? You might be on drugs.
Yeah,
You
it's
might
true.
have all
You might be
kinds
dead.
of problems. You know, we think of fame as
Gonna
being.
be the.
Thank you for minding the clock.
Are we on? This is the mayor of the airwaves. Today's broadcast brought to you by Remax Crown Owned and operated by Mr. John King and Mr. John King, father and son. Looking for a few good agents. I tell you, they have quite a team up there in Sebastian and now down here in Vero Beach. If you're interested in a great commission split, better than you've ever imagined, and working under a man of great and noble integrity, he is Mr. John King, and I mean that. Remember, the mayor doesn't endorse anybody he don't believe in. I'll say that when I say it with a southern accent, you can damn well count it back. How you doing, Pastor Richard Demsick is in here.
Yeah,
And our co-host of the day, of course, is Chuck Cannon. How you doing, Chuck?
Doing all right. Trying to wake up.
He seemed more
So-
enthusiastic on yours.
Well, Chuck just wrote a. Now you're gonna like this because I know that you like
Mhm.
film. And good morning, Beverly, too. Hi,
Good
Beverly.
morning.
And she's looking lovely and happy and multiple green and
Tropical.
It's beautiful.
tropical.
Just keeping awake here.
She can use bright colors in the morning.
So I noticed you sent Barbara was all excited because
Oh,
they were
wow.
laughing their butts off
Were
because
they?
he's back. The boy's back. He wrote a review,
Yes.
and this guy writes really. Have you read his reviews yet?
No, not
Well, you
yet.
will. The new one will be coming out.
Okay.
And you had a good review too.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
But
you.
this guy,
It's better than you.
no.
He introduced me better than you. So
Yeah,
I like that.
that's
It's
right.
not about the movies with Chuck. It's like the worse the situation, the better the review. Because it's kind of like, I don't know if it's really a
Yeah.
review. It gives me great insight, though. I mean, honestly, like, you and I have been friends for 23 years.
Mhm.
We're sitting there at CJ Cannon's and throwing the, what around
Mhm.
and chatting there and having breakfast. And then he writes this stuff, and I go, oh my God, it's like, this guy's a hidden, like, intellectual giant. I'm like a nothing, It's like, you write this stuff, wait till you see it. You have a real insight. You amaze me.
Well, thank you. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I say the same
and you
thing.
yourself, you have your own thumbprint. It's like he has his own. I want to get your take on this because
Okay.
you love movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
For those of you who are just listening out there, we're all lifting Chuck up and carrying him around the studio right now. So he's singing his praise.
Actually, we're taking a break. Oh, we'll be back.
Oh yeah, that.
Which ones are you reviewing?
Well, I haven't seen movies in so long. I did finally go to the movies the other day.
What'd you see?
He said, "Listen to this." Oh,
Yeah, watching.
you got my song. Remember I was singing? Were you here when I was singing "Planet Black" this morning?
No.
Oh, okay. Before you got there.
I just reviewed the Divergent when Insurgent maybe.
Oh, yeah. I heard
But I just read back a couple issues since I've written the last one and didn't see that anybody had reviewed it, so I
Yeah.
picked that up. It's still out. It's an oldie, but it's still out.
Mhm.
But I went to see Money Monster. Is that
Oh,
what it is?
yes.
I didn't like it at all.
No?
Money.
What's that about?
It's about a guy who's a money financier, talk show host, and he gets taken
George
hostage
Clooney.
on
George
air.
Clooney. You didn't
Yeah.
like it, and I thought that got good reviews or something.
Oh,
No,
yeah. That looks
Not
I
well
think
done,
I think it got like 60% across the board.
not good.
But I'm not a big Clooney fan, and he just played that part. And what's her name? Julia Roberts was in it.
It's too. They're too. I just watched a weird movie the past 2 nights. I watched it on my iPad.
Mhm.
I read that it's Jadot Pierre, the guy with the big face and the big nose. He's from France,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
and it was all with French. title.
Gerard Depardieu, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's this movie about just this little clumsy guy who was, his mother was fooled around, and she got pregnant by some guy who she wouldn't tell him who until after she's dead. But anyway, she always said, "You're nothing." I didn't even want you. I mean, stuff like that. And like, oh, and he got the teacher was making fun of him as a kid, but it just shows him in this little tiny French town, and he goes into the local.
And most people over here in the States know him from a few movies. He's not really well known, but in France and Europe, he is huge, or he was. I don't know if he
Yeah.
still is.
He really is good. It was just a weird little movie. I love weird little films that time.
Mhm.
Show the sensitivity of human beings,
Right.
and then
Are we talking something around Life is Beautiful, that kind of tone?
Yeah.
Something like
the
that?
Europeans have a different pulse.
Yeah.
It's much
Both
more
of you don't
appreciated.
realize that the Art Museum has a film society,
I didn't
all
know
foreign
that.
films.
We ought to go. The 3 of us ought to
Yeah.
go.
Fun.
Oh,
Oh, you could come too. The 4 of us would go.
I feel like
Right in front of her.
I get to see
we
all
should
these-
all
Yeah.
we should all go, but we should sit in a balcony that's like a little bit higher and like off to the side, and then make jokes the whole time. Right?
What was
Like
that
the
show? There
Muppet
was
Show.
a show like that called Mystery Theater 2000.
Oh,
Oh,
that
that
is
3000.
that.
3000.
That was
Yeah,
great.
that was one of my
All they
favorites.
did was
Make
just
fun
throw
of
their own
movies.
little, yeah.
He probably doesn't know about
Did
it.
you ever watch? Oh,
Oh, it was so good.
How come I
It was
missed
so
that? How did you know that I
It-
missed out on this?
Because of the museum, I just wanted to volunteer. It's a film society. I get to see all the foreign films in their library.
I have just followed a question for you.
Mhm.
Did you pick up the present that Mr. Fromag had left you?
No,
Froman.
I'll get that later. It's under the cushion, right? It's under the cushion. The money's under the secret cushion. Don't tell anybody.
Just want to make sure you remember.
I know where it is.
That's
Speaking of that, did you want to make an exchange? I'll give you your envelope if you give me mine.
Oh, I didn't bring an envelope. Am I supposed to bring an envelope?
I was hoping somebody had an envelope for me.
She will. It's my caller. Yes.
I know she's good for it. I just want to check, see if she already gave it to you.
No.
But you know, your leadership qualities, you're at the
Back up in
level
1
of
minute.
all your employees. You know what they're going through, and they know you know that.
yeah. Sometimes that can backfire, though. I mean, and the reason that I say that is because sometimes you're in the trenches with them too much, and then you become just
Familiarity breeds contempt.
I
sometimes.
hate that expression.
Yeah, but it does.
Well, I don't know.
Well, and there are times where I'll.
Be friendly, but don't be a friend. They say.
Yeah, well, that's true, and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can do that pretty well, but it does make you almost appear to be an ass.
So you're talking about business.
Yeah, well, that's
But there's a reason to do that.
You're talking about business, not friendships, right?
we're
Yeah, but-
gonna. Oh no, not friends.
No, no.
No,
Business.
okay.
But I've sat at a booth with somebody that I'm trying to get a loan from, or a banker or something
Yeah.
like that, and somebody that's worked with me for a long time will come up and go, "Hey, Chucky, you want your coffee now?" You know, and I'm like,
We'll be up
"Yeah, but
or open in 5
I'm a
seconds.
professional here, no, that's fine."
There's a line, isn't
And
there?
it was meant friendly.
Some applause.
But it was-
I'll introduce everybody. Let's give them all. I'll introduce all of them. We'll give them all a big round of applause.
Wait till you get to Montana.
So 1 grand applause for everyone, not 3 individual applauses. Okay, we can do that.
Make mine louder. One good one.
It's Chuck Cannon, Beverly, and Richard in the studio with the mayor of the airways.
Good morning.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Glad you could tune in. And we are broadcasting from Paradise, Vero Beach, Florida. And if you are listening from some foreign part of the nation right now, give us a text at 772-473-7777. And no, I was not here last week. I was here last Monday, but last
You
week
were gone the whole
was
week.
gone. And but we were live. People go, "Wow, can't wait for you to get back to live." We were live. Everybody that came in and was a co-host or guest host was live. Joseph Sempervivo and his dad, and had a host of other folks.
Did you take over Monday?
a host of.
No, I was here Monday. You were here
No, but
Monday.
I thought
I
you left
did
at 9.
yeah, I did at the end.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, at 9. That's right. Yeah.
How'd you do?
You started it all.
It's catastrophe. Oh yeah, everything
Well,
was
that
breaking
that makes
down.
for a good show. Then.
Shane started playing random things and noises, and it was really Shane's fault.
Oh, just like our regular show.
That's right.
I
Yeah,
forgot
that was
about
it.
that.
We shut down radio.
You shut it down.
How did you do that? That thing that goes, what was that kind of play for? I forget. Came up with something every time I said Trump or something. What was it?
Oh, wasn't it the
Oh,
We were misusing it. We were supposed to be. I was supposed to be playing like a clap or something, and I missed the clap and hit that.
oh, yeah, Bernie
I
Sanders.
think it was something burning.
Okay. Okay, speaking of Bernie Sanders, actually, I like Bernie
Oh, Bernie.
Sanders. I mean, if you consider, I mean, I'd rather have Bernie than Hillary,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
You
I don't know about that.
Well, I'd rather have Bernie than Hillary. At least we get a sincere smile.
That's true. Well, you don't get a lot of a smell, but you get a sincere growl. You know, you hear that. Oh,
Hey, can you do them yet? Can you?
can I do? I don't know.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, you just shake a lot.
Yeah.
Well, there's I really like the Larry David version of Bernie Sanders.
Perfect.
That's my favorite.
Isn't that amazing?
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Tina Fey, Sarah Palin imitation.
right.
I mean, they were made
Yeah.
to play that part.
Yeah,
I don't
it
have
was
a
amazing.
super pack. I don't even have a backpack. I got one pair of underwear. That's it. That's it. I put it on the.
I have one pair of underwear.
That's right.
That sounded just like Jesse Jackson.
I'm good at impressions. I don't do the person I plan on doing, but I'm good at doing somebody.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's right.
So-
Guess who this impression is?
Okay, so let's talk about Jeb Bush, big fat liar Jeb Bush. You know, all my life, and I posted this on Facebook, so I'll say it over there. You know, all my life I really did think, you know, I've known the Bushes, and I always thought he was better than me. And now I think, you know, Jeb, you got a rich daddy, and that's about all you got over me.
Mhm.
And you know, the fact I know this I know about myself. Isn't it great when you know something about yourself that's solid? Other ways you may wonder, you know, what about you kind of doubt, and you know you've sinned or you do this, and you're not a pervert. This I know, if I made my vow before the American people that I would vote for the candidate they chose, I would stick to it. There's actually a scripture to that.
Mhm.
And I went to Africa years ago, to Zimbabwe. I went with a guy who has 9 kids, Pastor Bennett, Charles Bennett in Hopewell, Virginia. I called him yesterday.
Mm.
And I said, you're the one that always said that, you know, 25 years ago. You keep your word to your own hurt. Do you know where it is? Is it in Proverbs? He said he'd call me back and text me. He hasn't done that yet. But it's somewhere in there about you shall keep your vow to your own hurt. You make a vow, you keep it.
The only verse that comes to mind is the let your yes be yes and your no be no.
Yeah, let your yea be yea and your nay
Yeah.
be nay. Okay, so what do you guys think? I mean, I'm disenchanted. I'm hurt that there's this guy, Lindsey, what's his name there? And Bush.
Graham
Lindsey
And
Graham.
I mean,
Bush.
to me, they've gone down irreparably. Think about, but Jeb Bush, he lied. I mean, he could have coasted along being the former governor and a Bush. He probably could have gotten maybe 50 grand a night for the rest of his life, maybe 30 grand, whatever he's worth. You know, his brother gets, of course, over 100,000. I mean, you have to think about, I mean, I always think about these things because at least if you're famous like that, at least you can feed your family, you know, forever. So anyway, I mean, ain't nobody going to even give him $20,000 a night. Who wants to see him anymore? To me, he has just lost all my respect.
But didn't you say he's boring?
Well, no, Trump said he was boring.
Okay.
And low energy.
Low energy.
Yeah.
That's funny you thought I said that.
Well, it's easy to get the two of you confused.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's announced today that Donald Trump picked an odd duck for his vice presidential candidate. Some radio chat host in Vero Beach, Florida, calls himself the mayor of the airwaves.
Be better than Sarah Palin. I wouldn't say that.
Oh, no.
She was another disappointment. I mean, here when McCain picked her, literally, you know, Dave Walsh, who's like, he's going to turn, by the way, he turns 90.
That's early.
June
Oh,
5th,
good for him.
June 5th.
Wow.
So anyway, so he and I talk on the phone, and we actually had tears in our eyes. I said, I'm crying, dude. He says, so am I. When she was first picked, I thought, this, you know, pretty young governor of Alaska. And then Katie Couric asks her, what do you read? And she can't, I mean, say Woman's Day, but, you know, I can understand where they use this excuse. Well, it's because of all the people they put around you.
Mhm.
Well, she says Woman's Day, then you think that, well, she's an airhead, that she just likes the little frivolity of, you know, making meatloaf or something. And then if she said, well, she likes the New York Times, and they're going to say she's a liberal. If she says she reads Playboy magazine, she's a lesbian. I mean, whatever it is, you know. So maybe she was paralyzed. But I mean, if somebody said, "What do you read?" Make it up
or be generic. I read a little bit of everything.
or something.
Yeah,
But she wouldn't answer. It was like,
She tried to say that.
it
She
ruined
tried
me
to say
for her.
that. Yeah, she
It
tried to
ruined
say
her
that.
for me.
Oh, everything.
But
And
she-
just, can you name one as an example? It's just everything.
Yeah.
And people assume that she didn't read anything, which they're probably right. But on the other hand, I do think it's
Well,
possible that she didn't want to.
she's not that smart, you know. You
But
know.
Yeah.
she quit her job.
Yeah, you do know why?
Tell me.
It's called speaking engagements, the thing I was just talking about.
That's right.
They
But
pay
she
her
had a
to-
responsibility.
She's already famous.
I know.
Hey, Al, let's forget about this. Let's get out of here out of the hot seat. I'm just gonna travel around and get paid for big. I mean, you know,
Yeah, what does she get paid? I wonder. She does travel around and speak.
But they,
you gotta
Yeah.
figure you're only making
Have you-
30 grand a night every
But
10
you know
nights. It's
something with-
300 grand. Man.
I know this is old news, but McCain was the rebel Republican. Then when he became the nominee, he became the fall in line Republican. He completely changed from being the rebel to being the fallen. And I think since he was so rebellious towards the party, I think Sarah Palin was the Tea Party favorite, if I remember back at that time, and
Big Tea Party moment.
a woman vice president
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
nominee.
Yeah.
So he was, I probably thinking in his own circle of advisors that this is probably a pretty good pick. It fell apart really quick, but I mean, it really kind of makes sense if you look at what he was like then as a politician, and the pick to the Tea Party, which was growing, and a woman as vice presidential running mate. It made sense then for like 10 minutes, and then everything went.
And then she
South.
talked.
Then everything
That's
she
the
talked.
problem.
Then they interviewed her.
and
But-
he admits now it was a big mistake.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a Dan Quayle.
Well, you know who
thing,
was on a mistake? Oh yeah, Dan Cole. I interviewed him. You know, not the sharpest knife in the
There's
drawer.
still.
His wife was right there with him. I mean, his wife, I would vote for president.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dan Quayle's, I guess, her little trophy boy.
If you
He
look up
inherited
his-
$500 million.
Yeah.
There before $500 million go out. It's the only time I was ever in a room with somebody. I said, he's vice president. I should be vice president before that guy. And believe
You
me,
can-
I do not think that I should be vice
You can
president.
still read his quotes and laugh
Oh
out loud.
my word.
They are hilariously funny.
It's so
Hilariously funny.
stupid.
Yeah, I guess that's good.
Yeah, I went, like I was in a foreign land once over there in the South California or something like that. I mean, stupid
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, really stupid
It
stuff.
looks like it was written by a comedian.
Yeah,
I mean, it's that funny.
it's that stupid.
Yeah, well.
And you know, that's the thing that George Bush Sr. had said, well, read my lips now, watch who I pick for my running mate. That will tell you a lot.
But again, George Bush Sr. looking for a young, handsome person to run with him that could.
Romney back then, when we didn't know that this guy Rubio was stupid.
Right.
Before that, now he's lost his career too. And I was really hopeful.
Little
this guy was-
Marco.
Little Marco, with his little hands. But if I, in hindsight now, and I got to interview who's the character I just mentioned that I don't like
Jeb
anymore.
Bush.
No, the guy that ran for president last time on the Republican.
Romney.
Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
If he had picked Rubio,
Mhm.
he would. Oh, they lost only by 3 million votes.
You're right.
If he had picked Rubio, he would have gotten the Spanish
I
vote.
believe you're right.
Hey, Gloria, yeah, hey, man, oh yeah. I mean, seriously, Gloria Senor Jesus, by the way, my friends. But anyway, only my Spanish friends will get
Boy, I
that.
wish I had one more cup of coffee today. I could have kept up with you.
Yeah.
I'm about
Him
10
long
seconds
gone.
behind. Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, we've
So-
got an interesting 6 months ahead of us,
Very interesting.
learning about the candidates.
well, what do you
Yeah.
think? Beverly, what do you think about the fact that Jeb Bush promised the American people? Don't you think a man should keep his word at all costs?
Yes.
I mean, I
agree.
can't tell you, I'm hurt inside. I'm hurt
Just-
because it scares me that people in leadership are not turning out to be the men. Like, I always wanted us to have a black president. I read Booker T. Washington when I was 5. The first book I read in my life was on George Washington Carver. I used to think I probably was a black guy. If there was reincarnation, I was definitely a black guy. I don't know, I've always had this obsession with black folk. I even sang in churches up north in the Carolinas. And I'd look out and go, I'm the only white guy in the church. And
Those you
And
can't
I'm
see,
attracted
Rhett
to
actually is a
hardships.
black man.
I might be inside.
Yeah.
But and of course Martin Luther King is one of the greatest
Yeah.
men. And I flew to Zimbabwe with his widow. I mean, this guy was great, noble. So I really wanted to be a man of color. I really wanted this thing to go down. And when I was with what's his name there, Secretary of State Colin Powell, I told him, I said, I will hold signs on the street corner. You're the first guy. I've never done that for no white guy, no Spanish guy, no guy or gal. And I would have done that for him. Of course, even he disappointed me when
he really disappointed me.
went for Obama.
Yeah.
Whatever. Now,
Yeah.
I think he was ticked off at the Bush.
No.
I don't know what went down. They say something went down where he was really ticked off at the Bushes. But the point being, Obama, I wanted to like. I wanted so much. I still do. It's like with Jeb. If right now I still, I believe in Jeb and Lindsey Graham, and these guys just lied and went like, Rhett, that's my hand against my cheek. Wake up.
Here, let me do it again.
Wake up.
Yeah.
These guys are inferior.
Yeah.
Jeb Bush is now inferior to me.
Sure.
Jeb Bush is a liar.
Well, you know what he's
When you lie, you're out of my. I will not do business with you. I don't want anything to do with you.
he's proven that he is a politician.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem. And that's and you know, I was thinking about Trump over the weekend because he's getting a hard time having established Republicans backing. And you just said, Beverly, the next 6 months are going to be interesting. And I think the fear is, and this is my fear, I can sit and listen to him do a calm interview with somebody.
Yeah.
And he sounds presidential.
Sure.
He sounds like a leader. He sounds like everything I think I would want. But when he gets into a debate with Hillary, he has a reputation that he could sink himself with these back and forth one-liners that aren't necessary.
Yeah.
I think he would.
It's like somebody thinking they're an entertainer when they're really not.
So
don't try to be cute and funny when you ain't.
Exactly. And the fear I think that some of these people have, including myself, are that you're going to put your weight behind them, and then they're going to come right out and say,
then you
on
go
national
and
TV,
spoil it all by saying something stupid.
and that's and sink it immediately. And well, that's the ideas and the policies are something that you can at least say, I agree with maybe what you want to do, maybe how you want to do it, or at the extreme that you want to go.
Sure.
But he could just come out and say something way off the wall as an insult. And
well, I'm going to build a wall around Vero Beach and get Fort Pierce to pay for it.
I love that. Yeah, although, who was that?
What is it?
Is that on Rhett first?
That was Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the Airways. Yeah.
Who was it? Who was it?
Mark Rodolfo had that on create a Photoshop board with his, he was running for whatever position.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
In a cowboy hat next to a
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, Mark is the one who made that. Oh, okay, I saw the photo. That's
I am
great.
the guy that made that.
Oh, okay.
It just got shared a bunch.
it. I shared it.
I'm going to build.
I was like, this is great. I got to share this.
People got a lot of giggles out of that. I was thinking about taking a full page ad out in the Press Journal and putting it in there too.
It was like on our church's Facebook page.
It was not, was it? I'm going to build a wall around Vero Beach and I'm going to get Fort Pierce to pay for it. And I happen to be taking the Habitat for Humanity event where I was dressed up like a
Nice.
marshal.
But Chuck, you're right. It's going to be very interesting, the debates, because I think she's a better debater than Trump.
Which probably, well, I don't know.
I don't know that. I don't know about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
She's more of a political
the
debater.
stuff's coming out on her. No, I met her and she treated me nice. So even though I'm supposed to be a Republican, I like people. I love people. I think the best of people. And now I saw these videos where she's blatantly, absolutely, she is, without beyond a shadow of a doubt, is caught in blatant lies.
Yeah.
And, it's funny, usually I thought I had good radar. And I can read people and go, that guy's full of donkey dust. And the one thing that the politicians are good at, they can all fool the mayor of the Airways. I just go, oh yeah, we're really nice.
Well, politicians are like addicts. They'll say what you want to hear to get what they want.
It's true.
And
Well, she's
they're
true.
absolute liars.
And that is the rise of Donald Trump being the so-called outsider, that he is saying, there they are, kind of a Reagan thing. There they go again. But the more they play the typical politician line, the more it strengthens Donald Trump. They're almost playing right into his hands.
That's right.
Well, they want Hillary to be reelected, even the Republicans in offices, because they don't want the game field to change.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sitting there, folks. Let me tell you, we have representation. We have taxation without
Well, do
representation.
you not agree that you're probably heading in the same direction no matter what color shirt you're wearing? I mean, you can be the Democrat or Republican. You're pretty much going the same direction because
That's why we're sick of it. It's the same old same. It's like even it was like even when McCain was running, it's like, I don't know, do I want the same old, same old? And I kind of thought secretly, like, well, maybe Obama will bring the change. Well, he's done nothing. He's been at war now more than any president in the history of the United States. He's the guy who's going to come in and end war. But we're more war longer than any. I mean,
Sure.
So,
on the other hand, the one thing I love about Obama is he did come through on his running promise
which
of
was
a change you can believe in.
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean?
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean much. That's the thing. That's why he could come through with it. It was a change, a slight change, and maybe arguably for the worst, but it was a change you could believe in.
Well, why I'm disappointed is I really wanted the first, and I think he's glib. I think he's articulate.
He's
nice-looking
funny.
guy. Funny. I mean, he's very bright.
Yeah.
But I wish we'd had somebody else for the first black president.
He's a community organizer, and he ran as a community organizer.
Well,
Because
and
he's
then
so
that means-
handsome and articulate.
And now when you say that, are we better off with a professional politician? Because,
No, I don't think so.
well, see, I mean, we're arguing against that because we're saying, here's a guy who wasn't an inside Washington insider, that didn't know what he was doing.
This guy can negotiate. Go on.
Well, I'm just going to say, and then however, you get somebody like a Clinton or a Bush that is from the inside that immediately sits down at the chair and knows who to call, what button to push, and how to get it done. That's not that I'm promoting any one or the other. I'm just saying that I have a hard time wondering what's better for us.
Look at this right here. Bixby just sent this and he texted us. You can text us too, ladies and gentlemen. 772-473-7777. 473-7777. Bixby, he says, Nobel Peace Prize. He's the president who has been in war longer than any president in the history of the United States of America, and they gave the guy
the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, but you can't have it both ways with what you're saying, Chuck, because if you want someone who's going to be honest and not lie to you, and then he says things that you don't like hearing, well, that kind of goes with the package.
Right.
I run into that even just as a pastor working at a church. There's a lot of people that are used to people playing the pastor game. They want the pastor to act holier than thou and have all the answers and pretend like they know what to do even when they have no clue.
Well,
If you want someone to be honest with you and just tell you, well, here, you could do this or you could do this. I don't really know.
Well, but then as a society,
What do you mean? Wait, but that's like calling on Jesus. Hey, Jesus. I don't know, Rhett. No, please, you gotta know. If you don't know, we are really in trouble.
Yeah, that's the thing is you want, Captain, they just pretend like they have no fear and they just go forward and they say, this is what we're going to
Can you
do.
imagine we had a vision of Jesus and he goes, well, on one hand, oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, definitely God is decisive. I went up to the Space Center.
Okay.
Last Monday when I left you and you took over the show. Went up there, I interviewed astronaut Al Warden. What a great guy. What a brilliant man. Went there and saw the IMAX movie. Oh my, I haven't been there since a blast off maybe 12 years ago. I went as a member of the press years ago. It was phenomenal. And they show what we have in outer space. Do you know we can take pictures now of molecular structures within molecular structures? And then they can show you the outer space. And they actually fly up and you get to land. What's that thing where the guys are living up there? You got the Russians and you got the Italians, and the Americans all living together. I mean, they are buds. And the brother of the guy who I interviewed this year, Scott, that guy Scott, whose wife was shot, remember the Congresswoman? They were on my show a few months ago, and his brother's up there. And it's like, wow. And then they show looking down at the Earth and looking into outer space and the Milky Way. And by the way, you'll want to catch the next issue of Vero's Voice magazine.
Oh, it's going to be.
What magazine there?
Oh, Vero's Voice.
wow.
The upscale magazine. Joy.
That's right.
Now, so anyway, so it's all going to be on space, but it's just like really been swimming in my head and my heart a week ago since I was there. And you go, wow. I mean, do you know what the chances are of there being another planet like the Earth? They know there's a couple out there. The perfectness of where the moon is,
Yeah.
you know, a gazillion million years ago. And this, I don't think this contests Christian philosophy, because someone, well, God made it in 6 days. Well, his day's like 1,000 years, so why don't you just shut up about it? Because God's very patient, and it might have taken 10 gazillion years to build this. But I mean, if he's outside of time and time's a warp, then he can do anything. So he just goes, oh, we're waiting there for that thing to come to fruition. But anyway, so the Earth is perfectly built. It has the moon's in the perfect spot. We have this protective covering. It's a miracle that we exist.
That's amazing, yeah.
Got to take a break. We'll be back. Today's broadcast brought to you by Remax Crown. Remax Crown. Tell you what, if you're a realtor, you might want to be under the helm of Mr. John King, a man of integrity. Remax Crown right here in Vero Beach. Who loves you, baby?
Aren't you in awe of what you saw? And to think we don't have any peace here on earth. I mean, we're
But
out
simply
there.
amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's going on? I mean, have you been up there lately? They go to this Remax, and they make a new movie a couple years. This is the newest one where they go up and go, and it's like, you know, no, it's a 3D too.
Right.
And you're like,
And before you know it,
my
Trump
goodness.
will have something out.
And then guess what? After the movie, I get to meet with Al Ward, who's been my friends for years. And I'm going, and all of a sudden, like, it's like, oh my God, 22 humans got to go to the moon, and you're my friend. It's like, hi, Al, how you doing? And we did the interview, and I'm going, like, you know what I mean? It's like one week, remember Arlo came over to the restaurant, and we had one of his restaurant a number of times. Seems to be our restaurant.
Warden came in also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
they-
anyway,
they-
but Arlo comes in this past year, and we have breakfast. And blah, blah, blah. How you doing, Chuck? Anyway, so then I go to see Arlo up on stage at the King Center. The lights go, ladies and gentlemen, from Woodstock, 1969. His father was Woody Guthrie, who breathed the life of a poet, Bob Dylan, and now here he is, Arlo Guthrie. And he comes and he's like, he's got that long coat hair, the light, like, shit. Is that the guy I had breakfast with? I can't be. You know, you know what I mean? I mean, I saw him, he sat right there. I'm going like,
Do you still get that starstruck? Because you've met so many famous people.
I went to see Steinfeld a couple of years. I've seen Steinfeld down here. I saw Steinfeld up at the King Center, and I saw Steinfeld's
Brett.
up at the
It's Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. It's Steinfeld.
I know it doesn't make any difference. but it doesn't
Steinfeld's
bother
the
me.
guy down here, the orthopedic surgeon. But
Oh,
Seinfeld.
yeah.
So anyway, I'm sitting there. This is really quite embarrassing, actually. I'm at a film festival,
Sure.
the Nantucket Film Festival. We're all in this little high school auditorium.
Yeah.
So he flies in a little private jet, of course. And what's this guy doing working? He's worth $600 million. But anyway, so they had 3 or 4 famous guys. The one guy that has anyway, they were up there talking about the other side of being a comedian. And how dark it is behind stage and how they pace. And the whole thing was about that. But anyway, so Seinfeld's there and they're all sitting there, 4 easy chairs, and I'm like only a few feet from him. And like I'm going, and he took a bottle of water. And I went, wow, he drinks a bottle of water just like me. And I caught myself and I said, what's the matter with you? You idolize this
You know,
guy.
it's funny that you say that because I think Larry David would be the person that I would get most starstruck on. You know, Larry David, the guy who co-created. I'm
He's a
such a big
genius.
fan of not only Seinfeld but of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I love that show, and he's
He's
so
genius.
funny. I know. I would, man, if I
I
could
wouldn't
have
mean like being
any
embarrassed to me. Because you
conversation.
don't want to talk to a dummy like me.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think that it impresses me because you've brought some people out there and they are just people.
Yeah.
But I think the impressive thing is when they can flip a switch and all of a sudden be that pro that you know.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld can sit around and drink water and talk like this, but all of a sudden he can be on.
Yeah.
And
He's an
I
artist.
agree.
People don't realize,
Like Robin
and I
Williams.
tell you, trust me, our comedians, we need to pay attention to. They're the most brilliant people.
Yeah.
Sadly, there's a dark side to that.
Yeah.
But it's just like what happened recently. Oh, we were walking to CJ Cannon's, and you'll notice there's a post of some purple flowers. Well, Bixby, I took him to breakfast, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And we got over there, and I parked that little illegal spot. We're getting out, there's that tree right here. And your truck's right here. And there's a little tree here, you know.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Okay. And he goes, all of a sudden, he's over there with his camera. What are you doing? He's taking a picture of those, what do you call those flowers that are
It was
indigenous?
like an orchid.
An orchid growing out of a tree. And he's taking a picture and going, I park here, 3-4 times a week, as you know.
Mhm.
And he's taking a picture. How come I didn't see that? And then he got online and said, that's beautiful. I said, well, that's Bixby. I said, I didn't notice it. I said, that's what an artist does.
Mhm.
He or she frames something you wouldn't normally see. Just like on this radio show, we might talk about the ordinary,
Mhm.
but if we can put a focus on it to go, it's taking that proverbial spring and stretching it out. Like, why do we park in the driveway and drive in the parkway, according to George Carlin?
Right.
It's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
bizarre. And then he does that thing on stuff. Well, when you're traveling, you got to take a little stuff. Okay, now here you get to your dresser, and you're in your hotel room. Okay, here's my clock, and here's my stuff here, and I got this here. And okay, I got just enough stuff that I feel at home now. Okay,
You know, it's funny
It's
because
true.
not every actor can do comedy,
Like monkeys.
but
Right.
every comedian can act.
Yeah,
I've never
probably, yeah.
seen a comedian that can't act. I mean,
And look at that black guy. Who's the good looking black guy? He swears a lot, but he's
Eddie
brilliant.
Murphy?
No,
Chris
close. He's yes.
Right.
Oh, Chris
That
Rock, yeah.
guy is brilliant.
Yeah,
But it's like you said, both of you said, they see things differently, where
Yeah.
they see things in a comedic way.
yeah.
Yes.
They'll see somebody driving down the street and go, and I see a black truck and he's looking at something else. You know, that's
Sure.
funny.
Sure.
And that's what makes him great.
Yeah.
And they can be sitting here like this saying, oh, he's drinking water and he's talking like a normal guy. I see a black truck and then he sees the black truck and says something hilarious. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, that's
Mhm.
what makes him,
Yeah.
you know, or you see a black truck and say, if that was photographed this, you know what I mean? Or then
Sure.
Rhett sees the black truck and thinks, I can sing a song about that black truck. You know, I mean, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of things happening.
That's true. Yeah, you are pretty good at just making up a song on the spot. That's pretty
I should take a challenge. You gotta give me a challenge, something I should write a song about.
Are you ready for your smoothie?
Well, I'm ready for my smoothie. Making my day. I need my protein drink. What can I say? Well, I'm ready for my
Gotta
smoothie.
be careful what you say.
Baby, will you make it for me?
Nice.
Will you make it vanilla? Oh, I don't care if it's strawberry.
Good, good.
Yeah, nice.
So you can do it.
Yeah, that's
That impresses the
not,
heck out of me.
not many people can do that. Yeah,
You know something? I can't even rhyme.
yeah.
I mean, my rhymes are a smoothie, let's go see a movie. You know, I mean, I couldn't even do anything that made sense. He does it on the spot with music.
When I was in high school, there was a group that did freestyling. It's hip hop freestyling kind of thing, and they would make fun of people that were just passing by in rhyme, rapping.
That's impressive.
And it was so fast, and I just like.
What I don't understand is the rappers, though.
Yeah.
How they can remember all that stuff. Now, people have always been, well, how do you remember all those lyrics? And I go, wow. But now I'm like, how do they go? Well, I'm walking down the street and I'm going to the beat. And I
Yeah.
saw that lady. She give me a treat. I said, hey, baby, what you want from me? She said, I want love, not money. You know.
Yeah.
Well, you just did it.
Yeah, but I made that
I
up.
can't do it.
But I
know.
made that up.
Yeah,
But
that's
they
harder,
make it
by
up,
the
and
way.
then they
Yeah.
repeat it every
Yeah.
time.
It is harder to make it up than remember it.
Yeah.
For
No,
most people.
for me, it's harder to remember it. Because, like,
Yeah.
I can't repeat that now. Walking down the street and I say to me, give me some treat.
Yeah, you are way worse the second time. You were so much better.
Yeah, yeah.
That is funny. Yeah.
Weird.
When are we back on?
Come on, man. Trying to put the air conditioner on. It's a lot of hot air in here today.
No comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of those secret restaurants.
Not really.
Hey.
Yeah, it is amazing. If you ever saw the interview with Robin Williams and his mom,
Robin Williams is a good example. Somebody just is always thinking like that.
Such a brilliant guy.
You know, being a pastor and liking Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yeah.
one of my favorite Curb Your Enthusiasms was when he was going to, for his in-laws, have the living nativity scene. And they
Yeah.
all are arguing, and when he pulls up to show them the scene, it was going to be live.
Yeah.
They were all fighting.
Yeah.
Did you remember that one?
Yeah,
They
that
were
was a good
punching
one.
the Joseph punching
Yeah.
the face, and I laughed for weeks after that because it was so bizarre. How do you
Yeah.
think of something like
I
that?
know.
And it was, and Seinfeld and Larry David, both shows have a way of
Working.
not
that
only
out.
having 5 or 6 different episodes going within one episode,
Yeah.
but each one is hilarious. They're
Yeah.
they're not fill-ins, where a lot of shows I think have
Sure.
second and third stories going on and they're just filler. All their fillers are great.
My favorite thing about Curb Your Enthusiasm is what I call self-referencing jokes, where you start a thing in the beginning and then the end of the show is referencing to the beginning, and it's hilarious because
Right.
everyone
Yeah.
knows the reference. Everyone gets it because
Yeah.
they watched the first part
There
of
was
the
a
show.
Roseanne, and Roseanne, I watched it because I think we only got certain channels from the place I lived, and I got into the show and I started watching it. Her sitcom, way back when. Not a fan of hers, but the sitcom writers,
Sure.
they changed one of her daughters,
Mm.
a different actress. One of the actors that played her daughters for 6 years went off to college and quit the show. They put a different actress in, and they had one of the scenes in the show was Halloween, and all these people were disguised, trick or treating.
Yeah.
And the old daughter came up, just
That's
dressed as
funny.
herself, and
Yeah.
Roseanne answers the door and she goes, "What a great costume!" And she goes, "I know who you are. Let me think for it." And it was just a little
Yeah.
10-second
I
deal,
love
and then
that.
she closed the door.
That's hilarious.
But that was hilarious, and you only got it if you knew it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It wasn't meant for people that were just casually watching the show. You had to be a fan.
Oh, I love that. My favorite Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, though, is the one with the Shack episode. Have you ever saw that
I
one?
don't think so.
It's great because
I haven't watched it in a few years, actually. I've watched the first 2 or 3 seasons.
he ends up injuring Shaq, which makes everyone hate him, which ends up making everything go really good for Larry David. Like, it's basically like all his problems go away because nobody likes him,
Yeah, right.
which is just kind of
Remember the restaurant where they like hired the head cook and he had Tourette's?
Yeah,
Petrified.
That's right, and they all started
And
swearing.
Just to think of that stuff is great.
Yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah, it's such a good show. Whenever I can't think of something to watch.
I have to pick up on that again.
Now, the most trusted name in radio, Rhett, the mayor of the airwaves.
Did you record that?
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's Chuck. Hey, Chuck Cannon. How are you, Chuck?
Oh, I was doing all right.
Okay, front page, and we have Pastor Richard Demsick in here. How you doing, Richard?
Doing well.
King Richard. We have Beverly Osler, who is our guest concierge.
Nice title.
And just made me this delicious.
Concierge extraordinaire.
That's right.
Extraordinary. Thank you.
I want to know from somebody out there, am I saying it wrong? Is it supposed to be concierge?
It's either way. Some
Oh, it
say-
is either way.
Somebody said the hard G.
Because David Walsh keeps
Yeah.
picking on me about that.
No,
That should be
either
It's
or.
French, right?
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
just slur it.
Concierge.
You know, concierge.
Concierge.
What do you say? How do you say it?
Parlez-vous français? Concierge.
Do you pronounce the J?
Concierge.
Very impressed.
Do you
I
pronounce
think I
it?
say, I don't think I do. Do I say concierge?
Yeah.
Guest concierge.
That's the way the upper
Yeah.
crust French.
Well, thank you for
pronounce
the
it.
position.
That's right. Upper crust French.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to be in France. Have either of you, any of you been in France?
No.
Okay, you have. Where were you in France?
Paris
Oh, I haven't been.
and
I wasn't-
Versailles. Oh, Paris, I loved.
Yeah. I was where Cannes Film Festival,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and I remember that the bakery goods.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was remember the food, but the bakery's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my gosh,
Just a
how
read.
come they can't have this back in America? They made this little cakes, little yellow cakes. I don't know, they're cornmeal in them. It was like the loveliest little things I ever had in my life. It's like, why can't we have these back in America? You know, that's how I remember places. Ask me a place in the world and I'll tell you about the food.
It has to do
You know,
with food.
like
yeah.
New York, Smith and Walensky's on 3rd Avenue, best steaks you ever had. Yeah. Okay, ask me about Miami. What's in Miami? I don't go to Miami much.
Don
Traveling.
Ramon's Cuban
Cuban
food.
food.
Oh, Ramon, hey.
Yeah.
Ortega. Cow and Ortega here. Ramon. Yeah. Ramon.
But
The cow and
traveling,
Ortega.
but traveling is a great experience with food. I find.
Yes.
I find wherever
Just
I go.
went through Atlanta last week.
Mhm.
Have you ever been to the Varsity?
No.
Man, I will put it on this week. I promise. I don't post any videos now when I'm traveling because I
Right.
don't want to alert the thieves. But The Varsity, we go inside. The Varsity's known for the best hot dogs in the world. And first of all, they're little hot dogs.
The Varsity Grill.
The Varsity, yeah. I met the lady who inherited from her dad.
Mhm.
$70,000 a day.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Every 10 days, that's like $3 million a month.
Wow.
And I think it's worse than ever. I mean, but better than ever, I guess. But I mean, how much money do you need? But the lines were so long, and we're talking about 30 lines of 30 servers. You wait in line. They were so long they went up to the walls in the back of the room, and then they had to squeeze around the corner.
Wow.
It's the most phenomenal. It's a phenomenon. Elvis used to go there, and Elvis would got an apartment across the street. They are delicious hot dogs.
Yeah.
The chili has a little problem with gas with me a little.
Thanks for sharing.
You definitely do not want to spend the night with Radio Rhett after he has been to the Varsity. Yes. A fragrant experience to say the least. And they make their choice. Thanks for that information. Now somebody has you can't do that. See that's it. We're getting feedback.
I think that's it.
Yeah. See that somebody's okay now. See it stopped. See
It's
the
still
headsets
happening.
are
It's still
open.
happening.
You'll
It's
get
still happening.
feedback.
It's still happening.
It's still happening.
Yeah.
What is it? What is that, Shane? What is that feedback we're getting? We're getting like what causes that?
Somebody's headphones are too close to a microphone.
Oh, see.
It'd be Chuck's.
No, Chuck's got his on. Unless, of course, he's got too much space around his head. Blame it on Chuck. So what were we talking about? Nothing of any consequence, I'm sure.
You're talking about food. You went to Atlanta. You went to the Varsity Grill or the Varsity.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Paula Dean's place up in Georgia, up Savannah?
Phenomenal.
Isn't it great?
Was so impressed with that. Savannah's my newest, latest, greatest city.
Oh, yeah.
It's got such a feel and a flavor and a pace that's old time country. Forrest Gump sitting there.
Oh, yeah. We went to Charleston a few years ago, and they have a lot of cafes there, and a lot of their chefs win awards. They go around and they rate them because there's a lot of restaurants there. And I found that when you eat in these places, read the dates that their chefs won the awards, because a lot of times the chef will win an award and then move on and open his own place up, but the restaurant will keep the award in the window.
1942.
Yeah.
I wonder why those French fries didn't twice right so
Yeah,
good.
we ate at a couple places, and I'm like, this is nothing. I mean, I'm sorry, but
Paula Dean, though, has done something. I don't know what it is. Now, I heard from the locals that it had gone down. They must have readjusted. And they said, look, we're going to do this. We got to do it right. Because I just heard from somebody, where does Paul Dean have another restaurant? It's near Dollywood, that area, Gatlinburg. And I heard it was phenomenal. We went to town there maybe 6 months ago, Savannah, and Barbara's like, I don't want to go to Paula Dean's.
Really? Wow.
I talked her into it, and we said, and we were so excited. We went back the next time. It's the best fried chicken you've ever had. Everything is phenomenal. Now, it's a little on the fat Grammy side, to say the least. They like that lard, man.
Yes.
But the Southerners love that lard. But they have brought it up to a standard, and I have to applaud her. Now, I did ask the black gentleman who was waiting us, nice, handsome young man, and I said, you're working here. I said, what do you think about what Paula said, that she admitted when she was younger she used the N-word? He said, who hasn't used that word? And he said, let me tell you something. She's prejudiced, and how come 90% of the people that are here that work here are black? I said, I wish you could say that on national TV, because now she has a retribution. You kind of go, well, should I like her? Don't I really like her? I might like her food, but I don't think I'd like her, I mean, come on, right?
I totally agree. I think it's a dangerous time when anybody that has anything worth anything can lose it because of one sentence or one slip of the tongue.
I was with John Walsh from America's Most Wanted about a week ago, and we were talking. I said, your old numbers aren't working for me, John. He says, the FBI makes me change them every 4 months now. He said, because of being on TV, these guys that are bad guys, hey, you got my brother Al. I'm going to come. My 6-shooter is going to chop you down. Anyway, I said to John, this is really not a very good time to be famous, is it? And he agreed with me.
Well, look at Target. Target has lost, I think they said, over $1 billion in stock value because of the stand they took, the statement they made, actually. I don't know if the stand was any different than they ever had on the transgender bathroom.
I don't understand that whole thing.
And they were saying when they were analyzing this, they said nothing has changed from a week ago to now, other than they said it out loud,
Sure.
and now they're part of a protest. And
Well, now you have your little daughter. You love your daughter. I know you love your
Yeah,
daughter.
I
You just
definitely-
bought her a beautiful
more than
condo,
anything, yes.
anything.
yes,
So let's bring her back to when she was 10. I used to see, she used to sit me in my seat over there at CJ Cannon's.
yes,
Okay, cute little thing. Would you want her going into a
No,
bathroom
I
going,
no, I
you know,
wouldn't.
and tell me something. Okay, we got 3 guys in here. Now, you as a pastor, you have to be removed from this because you're not allowed to confess that you're other human. But okay, so now let's go back when we discover our sexuality. Women have no idea of the enormous desire that is placed upon the male, because I can remember being 13 years of age, sitting in school on fire between my legs. Okay, I mean fire. And people don't realize that we are made procreate, procreate, procreate. Oh my word! So anyway, you know, and so, you know, let's say right now I say, hey man, hey Chuck, let's go into the ladies' room. We can just tell them, gay man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And go in there and
13-year-olds.
and or going to the gym where the girls are taking off their tops. I mean, when you're a boy, you're kind of like, oh, breasts. Oh my word. I mean, like, we're stupid about
one of
the
those
whole thing.
things that I think that if we didn't address it and we didn't get the government involved, I think our lives would have just gone as they always
Yeah,
have.
no
I
one
don't
would
think
care.
anything would have happened, because transgenders existed before the government got involved in this rule, and they went to the bathroom before they got involved in this law passing.
Yeah, so just shut up and leave it
we
alone.
woke up every day and life went on. I don't understand why we had to
Now, was
address
this hard
it
for
now.
you as a pastor? Because this whole thing is rough. Because I'm really worried about this whole homosexual thing, and I'll tell you why. We all have gay friends, and you know, and you know, it's very touchy because the Christians. When I happen to believe in Jesus, I came to believe in him at the age of 29. I had a miraculous encounter. I know the man is who he said he was, but I also know that people can be very judgmental, and I'm going, you know, wait a second. I know if I had a church, heaven forbid, but if I had a church, and I would be advertising it on TV on Saturday night saying, I don't care who you've been sleeping with or who you have not been sleeping with. I don't care what you've done or what you haven't done by commission or omission. There's a seat waiting right here for you because God loves you. I was not transformed and then came to Jesus. Came to Jesus, and slowly he's still working on me.
Yeah,
You know?
there's no prerequisite to come to Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, I'm a left-handed person,
Uh-oh.
and we're known to be a little smarter and a little more creative than right-handed
Holy
people.
crap.
However, we've tolerated living with you right-handers for
Right.
too long, and I'm ready to start something about having my own lounge, my own bathroom. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah, next thing you know, we're gonna have Republican toilets,
Hey.
independent toilets, or Republican toilets.
You know, there was a great, I don't know if any of you are Star Trek fans, old Star Trek, but there was a great Star Trek that is basically, it mocked human prejudice. There was a group of people, the Enterprise went, there's a group of people, the left side of them was black,
I remember
the right side
that.
of them was white. They were
To
striped,
show the
two sides.
ridiculousness of
They
it.
were fighting a group that the right side was white and the left side was black. They looked the same at first, and then realized, well, wait a minute, they're opposite.
Yeah.
But they were everything was the same.
Was that
Yeah.
keen the way
And
they
it
were
was
that?
perfect because it shows you the ridiculousness of prejudice.
The only thing that is troublesome to me is the political situation, the political ramifications, because
Of what?
well, homosexuality and because it's become a political issue. It's not about people who are homosexual. It's about the dynamics of this battle that's going on between the Republicans and the Democrats.
Well, and that's
on the
exactly
issue.
what is happening with the transgender thing because of the way the law is becoming written, like in North Carolina, the way the law was written was it wasn't an operational transgender decision. It was how you feel about what you are. You haven't decided yet. So because of that, they've allowed now people just to say, I feel like maybe I am a woman.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I'll go to the YMCA today or the YWCA today and use their locker room because the way it was written and because we got political about it.
Yeah.
We politicized an issue
That's right.
and now it's become
Well, you
confusing.
know, I've always held women to be sacred. I really have. I mean, probably inordinately so.
Mhm.
And I really have never thought that women farted, and I don't want to know that they do fart. I want to hold them in high esteem.
Right.
My
What are
mother
you-
said
what are
she
you
did
telling
not.
us, Rhett?
My mother did not want equality when she was younger. She said, "Why should I want equality? I want to maintain my superiority."
Well played.
Yeah, she was right.
Yeah.
I've
Oh, it is.
always highly esteemed women.
It is funny how things just like that, where they get themselves in, they being whoever we're talking about, or and we'll talk about women, they've become more of a pedestal, and guys idolize them, and guys open the doors for them. Then they want equality, and then it brings them down to a level of us.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I would rather have been idolized a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Oh, I'm at the Troy, New York post office.
Mhm.
I remember walking in one day holding the door. I don't need any man to hold the door for me. Well, let me tell you something. If I'm walking behind Chuck Cannon and we're going shopping at Macy's, which we've never done, but but let's go to Sam's. We have been to Sam's together.
Oh, why can't
You
we go to
hold the
Macy's?
door open,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, let's go to Macy's.
Let's not be sexist.
Okay, yeah. So we go to Macy's and you hold the door open for me,
Yeah.
like my dad used to
Yes,
do.
I do.
I like it, even when a
Yeah,
man holds the
it's
door for
manners.
me. It makes me feel like, oh, thank you very much, sir. And now I've learned that it's to my glory, or whatever you want to
Yeah.
say, to hold the door for others, to be in service of others. Some lady's coming up and she's 20 feet away and she's got a cane. I stand there, I wait, and I hold the dang door. And she says, thank you, sir. I said,
Everybody's
thank
offended
you.
by something.
Well,
I held the door for a woman once and got smacked. She
Mhm.
slapped
Really?
me.
Wow.
She slapped me on the face and she said, I can do it myself.
Oh, well,
No.
that's a jack.
I just want you to
It's
know,
true.
She's
guys,
a jack. Yeah.
here's my opinion. I'm an independent lady, but I love having a door open
Why
for
wouldn't
me
you? Sure.
because it's the difference between masculine and feminine.
Mhm.
And I feel very feminine when men treat
Sure.
me that way.
Right.
And that's the way I was born, and I want to continue that
Well,
way.
why? Look, well, I haven't figured this out. And maybe the pastor can give us some insight here, Richard, or maybe you can, Chuck. But why does a man get down on his knee and ask a woman to marry him? What's with that? He's somehow surrendering something or saying,
Yeah.
what is that? It's saying something, and women like it. Men love it because they're saying,
Well, some
I'm going to
guys.
serve you.
Sure.
I remember when my parents were alive, I always said, if the day ever came when Ben needed me to, or my mother, they stepped off a horse. I don't know why I did this. I always visualized a horse, and it's muddy, and they were going to have to step off. And I think and I told God, I said, I will get down on all my fours so they can step on my back, so they don't have to step into the puddle. I didn't end up having to do quite that, but I got to do some other things, and it's a privilege that I did get to serve them. I hope. And before they both passed, they said I was a good son, which to me is better than getting a Grammy Award, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was going to be the point of me telling you the story?
But getting down on his knees,
Yeah, what's that all about? Yeah.
a man is taking a chance. She isn't necessarily going to say yes. So that's pretty brave.
Well, we're getting to a point where, and I like this phrase somebody told me, we're becoming anthropologically indistinguishable. And that's
Say
a
that
great
again?
phrase. It's hard for me to say the first time.
Oh, have you heard about gender fluidity?
Gender fluidity, yeah.
Yeah.
I said we're becoming anthropologically indistinguishable.
Well, historically, though, when that happens in society, soon falls.
Well, you've seen science fiction where everybody's head shaved and they all wear the khaki one-piece thing. We all march in line and we all are tattooed and scanned and scanned. And, yeah, it seems like
we are the marching morons. We're marching to and fro.
I don't think that's going to happen. But
I hope not.
the gender fluidity thing, I think, is more realistic because, and a lot of my kids
Gender
are
fluidity.
Yeah, gender fluidity is what they believe in. So basically, it's whatever I feel like today. One day, a girl, the next day, and then I might switch
I don't
again.
know.
Do you think?
Gender fluidity?
Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just going to say, do you think some things seem like they become a hot topic and then they just go away? Because
Well, sometimes, you
It'll
want to
happen.
believe
It'll
that,
happen.
oh, wait a second, maybe it's a demonic possession. And then I go, and then I go, no, that's not true. Because what happens, like I've always liked women. But what happens if I needed masculinity like I need femininity?
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, I like hanging with guys for a short amount of time. I go to a ball game with them, then I'm kind of happy. You go your way, I go my way. Whereas I can be with a female for hours or days because she compliments me and I compliment her, hopefully. What happens if that? And Debbie Murphy, who plays at CJ Kansas every year, right now, I'm going to plug here. She said, well, Rhett, one time she was in the hospital in New York and she went down and so on the jars of the anatomy of people's bodies.
Mhm.
There's a whole lot of people in this town who will never say, I was born with both parts. What are you gonna do? You gonna send somebody to hell for that? You can send somebody because they have this other thing, this chromosome thing going down there? I don't know.
Well, a lot of it comes down to how how you travel on the journey towards equality. Is it about denying differences or embracing differences and seeing value?
I can tell you this for sure, and I mean this before, I don't mean to be, I'm not mocking, I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm not trying to be a smartass because I want God to love me. But I sure hope gay people are in heaven because it's sure a lot of fun. You know, oh, Mr. Palmer, we're going to decorate this, and they got the jokes, and it's like, one time I was in an elevator, and I was in an elevator in Hollywood. This is so cool. This lady gets on, and she's just clawing perfume, and she gets off, and this gay guy gets on and goes, well, perfume should be discovered, not announced. I mean, that's just like genius. And it's only something a gay guy would, it's just so perfect.
But not all gay guys are that flamboyant like that. I mean,
No,
you would never know.
You can't.
And again, I'm one of those live and let live. I don't have, they're not hurting me, or, you know, they meaning anybody different than me, whether it be righties, you know, like you guys, or
He's saying we have to take a break, so I gotta take a break. So Chuck, all I gotta say is this. We'll be right back.
There you go.
You're right about being a lefty. I remember taking
You can
French
practice
class,
this, right?
the tablet chair.
Yes.
I mean, everything,
Yeah.
a lot of the tools,
Yep.
your scissors, everything is all here
Messed
for
up,
writing.
yeah. And we just bow down to these righties. And we're smarter. We should be able to take
How many
over.
presidents been lefties?
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Including our current one. Barack Obama's lefty. I think Bill Clinton was lefty. One of them. I don't know if one of the Bushes was or not. But yeah, a lot of influential people.
Do you write this way?
I don't know. I
Because I
don't
don't.
twist around.
My son is lefty, he writes that
My
way.
daughter is too. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yes?
She struggles with things. Yeah.
So she got your genes, huh? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
But it has a lot to do with the right side of your brain.
What they say, yeah.
That's your creative side.
Are you lefty, Rhett? He's a creative guy.
What's that?
He's a creative guy. He may have been born lefty and trans, what would that be called?
I'm not a coffee drinker, but I can see why coffee is important.
I love coffee.
I don't like it because it makes me too hyper.
Well, that's why I stick it 2 cups. If I had another cup when I came in here, I would need to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's opportunity.
Well, I went to the bathroom, I really had to pee, when suddenly I realized it was rolled down my knee. Well, what am I gonna do?
The person on YouTube, and I mean the person on YouTube got that.
It's the toilet song.
It's very
Yeah,
different.
honestly though, with what you were saying, the homosexuality thing, the transgender thing, none of that really bothers me. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I have no deep concern of the direction of our country when it comes to that issue. There's other things that I'm concerned about, but that one is just I don't.
Well, you know, then you think about Sodom and Gomorrah. What was that all about? You know?
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
And then I wonder, you know, it says the marriage bed is undefiled.
Yeah.
And to me, that means once you're married, God is such a gentleman, you can do whatever you want to do in the bed. It's not defiled.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know. But then Paul, we can't pay attention to Paul.
Do you
Paul
like
was just a
that?
man.
Because you're not married. Does that
I truly believe it's probably very wrong. I live in great regret. I'm 62. I never married. I've been a Christian since I was, 29. And it really does disturb me. It bothers me a lot.
Have you, Barbara, ever talked about it?
Oh, she'd love to get married.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Oh, you'll never marry because you don't want to find the perfect person. You don't think you found the perfect person," which is, I don't know what the fear of. I don't know what this. It's such. It's the same reason that I haven't put the grave marker on my mother's grave. And it's been 7 years. I gotta go do it. I can't. It's the closure. I can't. It's the final thing. When I put that concrete thing down there, I just can't do it.
But at a certain point, you want to cement what you have. You know, like, or you lose it. You got nothing.
That's,
That's very interesting because I dated a man
Take the
for
turtle
many
down to
years and
a lake
he
nearby.
he
and he
never
swims
was
away.
married, never.
Like
I'm
no
afraid I'm gonna
happens.
die. Debbie may come in your times, but so much as I think God wants to
window.
bless you abundantly and with your music and stuff, but it's holding back because you're not
I
ready.
read that. That's
Which
funny.
is true, you know, like I like to sing in churches again. I used
Yeah.
to do that, but I don't do that because of my lifestyle.
Sure.
But that's
But it's the same reason why I believe, you know, what?
does the Bible say you should be married?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's a civil law.
But then again, I have great anger towards pastors
Mm.
because this crazy son of a, I like to punch him right in the nose. I fell in love with Wendy. I told you that. I fell in love with Wendy.
Mhm.
And I'm in church.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm in at the Albany airport, and this minister, this old guy says, "Well, go ahead and marry her and go to hell." What do you mean? Well, he said, she is divorced. You'll be committing adultery. And that stuck in my head and put a wedge between us, and I lost the love of my life.
Yeah.
There's not a day, listen to this, I was thinking about the other day,
Yeah.
there's not a day in 25 years I have not thought about that woman.
Yeah.
She comes up. Now, I love Claudia, I love Barbara, I love,
Sure.
you know, but I definitely fell madly in love.
But at
And it was
least
robbed from
you're
me.
capable.
Now
of-
that's the issue that I find actually harder as a Christian and a pastor is divorce in general. Homosexuality doesn't, you know, I don't think it's going to be a
Just
big
stick
issue.
it out.
But divorce, that's a difficult one. Now, one of the things that someone pointed out to me recently, I thought was really interesting, is they pointed out that in some ways Christianity is a second marriage, right? Our relationship with Jesus.
It's a foreshadowing of eternal marriage.
Well, no, but think about this. Okay, so the Jewish people were the intended; they were the chosen. They rejected
the
Jesus.
bridegroom.
And then the Gentiles were the grafted on tree.
Yeah, but wait a second. Remember that guy whose wife went down and sold her body, and she was an old whore, and she was all wrinkled up and old. He says, "As I'm married to Israel, so are you married to her. Go down and get your wife downtown and bring her back and take her back in, because as you are married to her, so am I married to Israel."
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sure.
So we go hoarding about. He still considers ourselves. So he's still married to Israel.
Yeah, but my point is then, how can a Christian say, you know, you shouldn't get married if you've been divorced before? If Jesus basically
Oh, I see
did.
what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the bride, because it's supposed to be an image.
You want to hear something else
Christ.
too? In the Bible, it says a man is once you get a divorce, you can never marry a woman back again the second time unless someone dies and comes back to life, which is weird to me in the old scripture. Read it. Read it. It's in there.
Interesting. I don't know.
Jesus, what did he
Yeah,
do?
God went back.
The bridegroom died, came back. Oi, whoa, it's not a coincidence.
What was exactly the first thing? Because I want to see if I can find
I
that.
don't know, but it's in there. It's about a man cannot remarry a woman unless one of them were to die and then come back to
There's
life.
so many divorced people in the world now. How can you apply that to the Bible anymore?
Well, as a Catholic, you just get it annulled and you start over again. I know a
You
Catholic.
can.
I know a Catholic guy that's gotten married 6 times. He's got like
That's
20.
a mockery.
That is a mockery.
That's a
No, it
mockery.
is a mockery.
Yeah.
But he wrote out a check to the Catholic Church that was pretty hefty every month, and
How much? Thousands.
well, he was a wealthy man, so I imagine, and he had
Oh.
6 annulments.
To really think, who is stupid enough to think you can buy the favor of God? Everything belongs to him.
I don't know that he was thinking that he was buying the favor of God. I think he was manipulating
Manipulating.
a Catholic business slash religion.
Catholic Church has flipped.
Okay, we got a lot of people will be listening tomorrow between 7:30 and 8. So this energy, baby. Let's go. Good morning. What's up, Chuck?
Not much.
So how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Another beautiful day. Hello, Sparky. How you doing, Sparky?
It's Monday morning.
Monday. Hey! Great minds think alike.
That's right.
Actually, we shouldn't say that though in the later segment. You know why? Because it plays again Tuesday morning.
Oh,
And we have
Tuesday,
a really big
Tuesday.
listenership between 7 and 8 before we go live.
Sure.
But anyway, hello to you. Even if it's Tuesday, happy morning to you.
My
Happy
brother
day,
always
happy day.
listens at that segment.
See,
Yeah.
that's it. Everybody has their own time period.
That's
So
right.
you never know.
Yeah.
That's the voice of Richard Demsick, who also passes for a pastor on Sundays anyway.
Just passes.
Just passes.
How good of a pastor is he? Passes.
Hey, pastor, man. Well, I go there, so I like it because
Yeah.
it's real. I like it because it's real.
That's all about authenticity.
Yeah, be yourself, be real,
Yeah.
man. And then we have Beverly, of course, who is our concierge. Concierge.
I just feel so lucky. You guys are so much fun. All I've been doing is laughing. It's just wonderful.
And we have a round of applause for Mr. Chuck Kidden.
I apologize, Richard.
Yeah, I know.
I feel
It's,
guilty about
it's always like, wow, he definitely likes Chuck the best.
Well, he's the official co-host of that.
Sure,
But
sure.
actually,
That's fine.
what we could do is hold the thing for the applause for all of them. Okay, let's have applause for all three of these individuals, my victims today.
It's really okay.
It's kind of diluted now, but
Today's broadcast, by the way, is brought to you by John King, Mr. John King. He is the, when you're a realtor and you work under somebody's authority, what is it?
it's the broker
The
probably.
broker. He is the broker. He's a man of great integrity, and he owns Remax Crown. Remax Crown. And they have a lot of success over 30 years up in Sebastian, and now have their new offices here in Vero Beach, Florida. And if you are a realtor and you're looking for the best commission deal, if you're looking to work under someone who has integrity, he is Mr. John King. Call me. I'll tell you more about him, because remember, I only endorse those I thoroughly believe in, and he's one of them. Now, so it's another beautiful day in paradise. Somebody's
It is.
calling. I wonder if that's my guy. Hello, this is Rhett Palmer. Who is it, please? Oh, so okay. Hey, listen, I sent you.
I was like,
you.
this is very
Hold on.
risky.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't
I
want to
was
play this.
thinking
I
that
forgot
too.
I was going to play this for my Turkish friend. I just met this Turkish guy. This only take 2 minutes. Here it is. Hold on, let's start again.
Originally
Hold on.
from, I'm over in St. Petersburg and I'm talking to Suat. He's originally from Turkey. And how do you say good day in Turkey? İyi günler. Well, my friend is Debbie Maycumber, and she is a writer of women's fiction, and she's the #1 popular artist in all of Turkey. Is that something?
Isn't that something? Feels very
Yeah.
great.
Now, how many places have you lived? Because you were telling me, Suat, that there's no place like America. You said, how many people wish they were here?
Over 1 billion people dream has to live in the United States. That's what I'm thinking.
And where have you lived? Name the places you have lived.
I used to live in London for 1.5 years, and then when I was 7 years old, I used to live in the Netherlands.
I've been there.
I've been in Germany, France, Belgium, Luxembourg. This is the best place to live in the earth.
Why?
God bless United States of America. Why? Because of democracy. Because of the people respect each other. Because of opportunity. I mean, everything.
And your dream came true because you took a cruise. Now, as a boy, you used to watch the reruns of Love Boat, and you actually met the love of your life, and that's how you came to America? Tell us about it quickly.
That's true. My brother was working at the cruise line company, and then he had a Metro D, so he had a free cruise for the family members. So I took a cruise, and then I met my dream wife in the first night of my cruise. So after I stayed in Miami 2 weeks, and then I back to Turkey again, and then we keep in touch online and phone each other almost 2 years. Then we decided to get married.
How did you find your way to St. Petersburg to work here at the Hilton?
Oh, Actually, I used to live in Hilton Clearwater Beach. Then I moved to Fort Myers, and then I like this area, so I tried to do Hilton St. Pete.
Well, you certainly are filled with gratitude because from the time we arrived, now we're leaving Suat, you've had nothing but a smile on your face.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that nice complimentary.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're so happy and appreciative.
Thank you so very much. And then once again, God bless United States of America.
Thank you very much, Suat.
My pleasure.
All right, good day. Very nice meeting you.
Very nice to meet you too.
So just,
Do you ever wonder why everybody takes such a pot shot that we're such a bad country, but everybody you interview wants to come here? Everybody. No, I never hear anybody say, oh, I really want to go to Germany. I really want to go to Japan and live. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but everybody wants to come to America. Everybody. And then, but everybody tears it down. We're so bad. We're so evil. Everything's so bad. The medical care is so bad here, but the Ebola patients all come to America. The government's so bad, but everybody's breaking the law to get in here. I mean, it amazes me.
I'm definitely not a Donald Trump fan, but that's the thing that I think is the best about Donald Trump of all his points. The thing that he talks about with the international deals and the fact that they're not winning goodwill across the world. So we need to make deals that work better for the United States.
And he is the deal maker.
And he's the deal maker. That's his point.
Look what he did in New York. Folks, if you haven't heard this story, and I'm going to say it ad infinitum times, so before the election, but the one, and I hope I can learn some more stories about it, but the fact that they wanted to build the skating rink in New York City, and the local government, I thought it was only a couple of years. It took them over 10 years. They couldn't get it done. He comes along and says, I'll take it. No, we'll do it ourselves. I'll do it. We'll do it. Finally, they relent and give it to Trump. Trump said, I'll get it done within a year. He got it done in 4 months. What did he do? He flew up on his little private jet. And what do they do in Canada? They build skating rinks. He hired the experts, brought them down. 4 months later, he is a get-it-done kind of guy.
And did it under budget.
So there you go. And I think he'll be good for America. The only thing is, let's all be honestly concerned. And if he was in here, I'd say, Donald, I admire you. I admire your success and stuff. I don't admire what you said about that lady who was running for office.
Yeah.
And I am worried that with the way you're so flippantly stupid with your mouth sometimes, you're my brother.
Yeah.
Love you. I'll stand behind you. I'm going to vote for you. I'm all behind you. But please, you scare me when it comes to international affairs. He's going to stir up World War IV. Somebody said, we haven't even had World War III. I said, yeah, that's the point. He's going to get right through. We'll go right through to number 4 with this guy. No, really. Does he scare you?
He does. A lot of the things he says scare me because a president is not just a policymaker. In fact, in some ways, a president isn't a policymaker. In some ways, a president is like a pastor. He's inspiring people to act. And when your speech is negative, that's not going to inspire people to positive action.
The only thing is, though, but we've had, like when Jeb Bush came to town, after Jeb Bush, after I interviewed him, a few months later, this guy came to town from, was it Yale or Harvard? Anyway, he was speaking at the Emerson Center, and he said, Jeb Bush is 11-year-old news. And I thought, wow, what an appropriate way of saying it. It was true. And now, I always admired him, but now I'm very disappointed in his character. I will never admire him again because he lied. The worst thing you can do is lie. I gave you my word, the American people. I can tell you, as the mayor of the airways, if I stand there, I'm going to vote for the winner I'm going to vote for the winner. And that's a man's word. A man's only as good as his word. To me, he's history.
Well, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to vote for a lot of politicians if you really stick to only voting for someone that sticks to their word, because they've pretty much all broken it at some point.
What do you think? The Bible says Jesus, and you're a pastor. Jesus said, no liar shall enter the kingdom of God.
Yeah, but you know what? The funny part about it, I didn't mean to interrupt. The funny part about that, the ironic part is that was said for Trump's benefit. In other words, are you going to vote for whoever gets the nomination?
Yeah, because they didn't think he was going to get there.
And the thing that you're bringing up that I agree with is the fact that it's just been such a short time ago, just a few weeks ago, that you dropped out of the race, that you've backed up on your word. And that was done to try to trap Trump. And then now that didn't work. Now they're just dropping off saying, well, that wasn't that big of a deal. I just said it to say it. And that's the part that makes him look so bad.
Yeah, I say many things that I don't believe.
Hey, policies change. And I think the beliefs can change when you're in politics because times change.
Well, you know what? One thing about Trump, he may say some stupid stuff, but at least we know we're getting honest. Talk about the authenticity.
Yeah, and that's the point of a promise, right? Whenever you say something like, I will do this if this, it's that even if the circumstances change, I'm still going to hold true to that.
Shall have some sort of.
That's
Here's a
the point.
negative. You
You
want to
can't
hear
just
a
say, oh, I changed
negative?
my mind.
His corporation had 4 bankruptcies.
Oh,
Think
that's
of all-
okay. I'm
Yeah,
not-
but a
I'm
lot
not
of
gonna buy that.
contractors lost money.
Listen,
Somebody
let me tell you
got hurt.
something.
Okay.
Businesses fall for it. Disney. Let's talk about Walt Disney. Do you like Walt Disney? He
Mhm.
went bankrupt 4 times before he started Disneyland.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you know why? Risk takers get reward in this world. And if you're wondering around why you have impoverished pockets, it's because you don't take enough chances. And by the way, Pastor, it even says in the book of Revelation, God has no joy in the fearful soul. I know personally because I have been fearful. I'd be further along in different dreams that I've had if I had, oh, they're going to reject me.
Well, what I would say about Trump going bankrupt, it doesn't reflect necessarily a negative business sense because he's taking advantage of the business laws that are in place. On the other hand, you could argue that it doesn't bear well on his character because it is not fulfilling a debt. Jeb Bush didn't fulfill a promise. Trump did not fulfill a debt.
It's very complex. When I used to go to John's, I still go to John's, but when I was up there years ago, my friend lived there. He's now moved to Hilton Head. He's a little old guy, hardly said anything. Now, when you're sitting around in a circle, have I brought you up there yet on Tuesdays? You got to come up there. Anyway, so sitting around a circle, this is the guy that says nothing.
Yeah.
And I've learned one thing. You're in with a bunch of men. Watch the guy that says nothing, because that's the guy that's got something to say.
So
one time
be Shane.
He ran an electric company and obviously became very wealthy, lived at John's Home. And he had done the electricity for the new Trump place in Atlantic City. And now he says Trump came to him and said, oh, good, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. Now, who knows what else was said? Maybe something wasn't done to us. Like, I don't know. But he said, yeah, you owe me a final $300,000. And so he said that Trump said, sue me for it. And then he looked at him and says, okay, but aren't you having your grand opening next Tuesday? Yeah. Well, do you want the lights to be on for your grand opening? And he said, Trump then gave him the $300,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So that made his character questionable. Then I had the apprentice on my show, one of the winners. And when you're an apprentice, you get to ask Donald Trump at the end of that show any question, he has to answer it. So he said, well, I heard the story that you were traveling down late one night. You decided you want to go to Mar-a-Lago. You left Atlantic City. You're in your limousine. And somewhere in South Carolina, the cricket's cricking outside the window. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Your limousine breaks down. This old guy comes by in his pickup truck, pulls over. You got a problem here? We don't know what it is. He gets under the car, fixes the car, and you say thank you and drive off to Mar-a-Lago. And the guy goes home. The next day, at the door is a man in a shirt and tie. I said, are you Mr. Smith? Yes. Do you remember last night you helped some people with a broken down limousine? Yeah, well, that was Mr. Donald Trump. By the way, here is your deed to your home. It's been paid in full. And he said to Donald, is that true? And Donald kind of looked down and said, well, yeah, it is. He likes to keep those things quiet.
Yeah.
So here's a bad story. Here's a good story.
Something though,
Sure.
as a human being and as a businessman that's involved in so much, I'm sure you're going to have good and bad stories. I'm sure that there's nobody that is saintly that doesn't have a bad story to them. And we also lose track of the fact that we're also imperfect beings that do make mistakes and bad judgment, and it's up to us to determine whether or not we forgive these people and or whether we accept the fact that we're not perfect.
I bet you there's not a person that in this country doesn't think that Donald has said some jerky things.
Yeah.
I was all gung-ho on him, and then when he said that thing about that lady that I like, Carly Fiorina, I'm sorry, she didn't look a little like this. I get it, But I tell you what, probably even before him, if I could, I'd vote for her for president of the United States. I think she'd be a great CEO for this country. But he shouldn't have said, do you want to wake up to that face? What'd you say that for?
Sure, but the question is, do you want to see behind the curtain or not? Because if you want to see behind the curtain, you can't be too startled when there's somebody naked out there, right? So do you want to see what Trump is really like behind closed doors? I think we actually know kind of what he's like.
Here's the New York Times.
Yeah.
This Sunday's New York Times. Now, this is really low class. They put a nice, handsome picture. See this picture with all the girls around him? He looks handsome there. So actually, they're probably doing him some good here.
I like the photo where they take his lips and they put it where his eyes are, and his eyes are lips.
Donald Trump, this is front page. Donald Trump had barely met Rowan Brewer Lane when he asked her to change out of her clothes. See how they started this? They were at a pool party in 1990. And he said, would you like to change? She said, I don't have a bathing suit. He took her upstairs and said, hey, here's the 26-year-old model, Mr. Trump. I went to the bathroom and tried one on, she recalled. It was a bikini. I came out and said, wow. Oh, is that bad that he said, wow? Oh, hey, it's evil to be heterosexual now, I guess. Anyway, Mr. Trump, then 44, and that's nothing against gay people. It's just saying, you know what I'm saying, this magazine, this newspaper. Mr. Trump, then 44, and in the midst of his first divorce, decided to show her off to the crowd. He brought her out to the pool and said, isn't this a stunning Trump girl, isn't she? Mrs. Brewer. So was she offended? What is this crap?
What is it? I don't even know
That's
what to kinda
front
say.
page New York Times that they're groping for that. When Hillary, and I met some of the people who she was a nasty B word to. I got Bert Lee lives in this town. I'll go over and see him today and record it. He's an old doctor now in his 90s. He was President George Bush's White House physician. Bert and I are friends. Used to be on the commission over here for the hospital stuff. Okay, he said when he got into office, Hillary actually fired him, but he said, now, well, why would Bert lie? She was nasty, and I've heard it from a number of people. Now, when I met her, she was nice to me, I have to say, but I'm a member of the media. But and look what her husband did, and then she approached the ladies.
It's supposed to be news that Trump has a thing for beautiful women. Yeah,
I mean,
would think
actually,
so.
this is good publicity. If I was his agent, I'd say, hey, look what we got down. He looks particularly, does he not look particularly? That's one of the better shots of him with all those women. I mean, actually, it's a positive image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, why do they run that crap?
I'm really disappointed in the New York Times.
Yeah.
Really.
It's
like tabloid stuff.
It really is.
When you
yeah,
really,
exactly.
But it's trying to make a story out of really
no more
nothing.
journalists.
They're trying to exploit something that's
That's
really
right.
It's
not.
the Enquirer, man.
Yeah.
It's the New York Times Enquirer.
It's
Isn't that a shame?
I think it's a rare trait for someone to be able to look beyond their personal bias. And I think this is a clear evidence of someone not able to do that. They're just so biased against Trump. They're trying to find something to nail him on.
Well, the sad part is that they got
yeah.
front page news on it. That's pretty,
I know.
that's it with all that's happening in the world. That's the lead story.
Yeah.
That Donald Trump had 4 beautiful women around him, and then he asked this one lady to put on a bathing suit.
Oh,
He didn't attempt to seduce her, she says. He didn't attempt to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
He was single at the time. But he's, I don't know what those, we don't even know the circumstance. She was a model, she's there.
Sure. But I will say the one thing that you can say about this coming election is it's going to be a great day for comedy.
Oh.
It's going to be.
It's already
the comedians of the
overwhelming.
world rejoice.
Well, I was noticing on TV the other day, Bob Woodard was mentioning there's a staff of 20 writers are doing research on both Trump and Hillary, and they're going to dig deeply. So be careful what's going to come
That's
up.
the bad thing about today's world, no matter what you say.
Mhm.
Just like this, we're on YouTube now. And that worries me because you go into break and you say stuff maybe you wouldn't want somebody to know about who was in your life 30 years ago. But it's there. But of course, Sparky, you can take it off of there, right?
For a nominal fee.
See, everybody's got a price. What can I say? Listen, I want to thank you, Richard, Pastor Richard, for coming in here today.
Absolutely.
We're going to continue our show in a few minutes with some new live broadcasts, but in the meantime, for today, these couple hours, Richard Demsick has a church where?
Right behind Outback on US 1. It's Christ Church, and we are 9:23. We do the 10:30 service, but we also have a wonderful 8 and 10 a.m. service as
Well,
well.
those are traditional services.
Yeah.
I don't go to the traditional. I go to his.
Sure,
Which is back, and they throw them back in the black room there.
If you want to see behind the curtain.
If you want the outliers of the,
That's
what are they
right.
called?
Exactly. The outliers, the
the
misfits.
oddities, come and join us.
Where misfits become kings.
We're misfits become kings.
At 9:23.
Sunday mornings at 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Beverly, thank you for all you do.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks for making me my vanilla Shackley shake.
Oh, keep
today.
you happy.
And of course, Chuck Cannon,
Yeah.
owner of CJ Cannons,
Mhm.
and has the best what in town?
Best food.
No,
Let's
what's
just
that thing that I like
generalize
with
it.
the 2 eggs?
Oh, you like
and
the eggs Benedict.
Yeah, you know that.
Let's just say food.
It
The
is
best
food,
food in
yeah.
town.
And prime rib is exceptional.
Yes, it is.
It is. There's no doubt about it.
And the
Thank
best
you.
customers.
Appreciate your friendships. Everybody out there, I appreciate your friendships. Today's broadcast brought to you by Mr. John King and Mr. John King. He and his son have Remax Crown Realty. They're exceptionally committed to integrity. I really like that family, and they'll take good care of you. If you're an agent, real estate agent, looking for a broker that has integrity and a better deal, check them out.
That was fun. As always.
Here comes, what's his name? Maybe he'll take some pictures with the first one.
There he is.
You take some pictures
That
of it?
was part of the show when you did that.
Hey, dude.
Hey, how you doing? It's good to see you. I said Bixby. I just learned it, but my brain isn't working.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How you doing? Everyone's called me bags.
I had to fight every time I think about but it's similar to what you were saying. So for some reason, like I couldn't get your name, and it comes out Patrick after something. It's like Desmond or something. It's something like that. So every time I go into it, I'm like, that's why you all do Sparky, because that's when you always get.
President of East Coast Tax and Financial Planning. Host of Financial Pulse every Thursday, 10:30 a.m. 11 o'clock right here, 107.9 on your
Small little
FM,
bastard.
71 on your AM dial. The
My
Financial
brother's
Pulse,
name is
Thursdays,
My
10:30 a.m.
cousins are Sean and Shane. So I've been Sean for years. You know, my parents call me Sean. No, I'm the younger one. You can imagine. How many times you get beat? God, Sean, shit, you don't want.
Ready to me, we should judge everyone. Go over a lot of people, but to me, we keep ourselves safe. People around us, people living our lives, we should
Don't put up when it say my name first and then go to the next one. And I'm like, but you hit it. You were there.
Tell others how to live their lives.
Have a good
For
one.
us to keep ourselves safe.
Yeah, that's about all my life. All my name spelled out.
What do you got planned today, Bixby?
Make sure you're more sleep next time. That specializes in this rewarding procedure. Veins disappear, never to be seen again. The doctor is Pranay Remdev. Dr. Remdev is a board-certified vascular surgeon with a Harvard medical degree. Dr. Remdev is an experienced medical doctor qualified to do blood and artery procedures. They black out nasty blood.
Smells like Nashville in here.